Assassin's Creed Nexus, my very first VR standalone purchase. Not because the meta reviews convinced me, because come on meta, fix this nonsense. No, because I was very curious to see what the Meta Quest 3 could poop out, especially with Ubisoft working on such a title. And just to get the question out of the way, is this on par with PCVR? Well, yes and no, and here's why. First of all, the game is around 16 gigabytes. I fully charged my headset to download and install the game, and after everything was set up, I was at 80% battery left, so I started to slightly worry here. Now once you are in-game, you quickly grasp the story that will unfold. You work for Abstergo Industries, who have found a way to retrieve powerful lost artifacts that can be used to manipulate people's beliefs. At the same time, you are working undercover as a hacker for the Brotherhood. And with that story, you will dive into the minds of three pretty legendary assassins. You play as Ezio in beautiful Italy, Cassandra in Greece, and Connor Kenway in British America. The nice thing here is that, for example, in the first two levels you play as Ezio in Italy, then the next level is in Greece, you play as Cassandra, and then in the third level or fourth level you are back in Italy. And this offers a nice diversity to the game as it always mixes things up, but at the same time it can be very hard to follow the plot in each of these storylines. Now, before you become the assassin though, there is a helpful tutorial that will inform you of the basics of what's going on. When I saw the trailer for Assassin's Creed Nexus with all its parkour action, I was very afraid it would be full of clunkiness. Think of Boneworks, where I already struggled with climbing over certain walls and railings because my legs got stuck behind. But I think Ubisoft did great here. So when you run around the city, you just hold down the A button on your controller, which activates a parkour mode, which automatically makes you jump to wherever you are looking. It might sound odd and weird, I know, but it works pretty well. It would be very immersion breaking again if you constantly fell or got stuck behind something. No, instead, you hold down the A button and parkour away. And doing that in the streets of Venice was quite an immersive experience. You might also notice that these streets are quite full of people. I was actually surprised it felt somewhat like a living city, and that for the Quest 3. I mean, people walk around, musicians play, people talk or scream. However, the city itself, the area itself, isn't very big and you can't enter all of these houses, they are locked. Now, as you walk through these cities, you will find artifacts that provide some historical context, which I thought was a very nice addition. You will also find artifacts that trigger a parkour challenge in where you have to go through certain checkpoints. Now, I wish these challenges and historical lessons were more integrated into the world. For example, why not have a character speak about the carnival taking place in Venice, or explain what it was like to be in prison back in the days with a cool voiceover? Same with these parkour challenges. It would be nice if an actual NPC challenged you, maybe somewhere in the corner, somewhere in like a dodgy alleyway, for a minigame like throwing axes or shooting a bow. The pop-up history lessons and these parkour challenges were somewhat immersion breaking for the time period I wanted to immerse myself in, if that makes sense. However, a cool example was when you play a game of dice in the gambling den in Athens. I mean, that was pretty cool, and I wish these interactions occurred more often. Another immersion-breaking aspect was the UI pop-ups. They are huge, Ubisoft. While they are accessible, all these pop-ups and markers started to annoy me. What's not immersion-breaking are the cutscenes. I love that you are really part of the many conversations that the game throws you into. You're part of the world and not just watching these cutscenes on a 2D flat screen, which really, this really supports the immersion, that you are there. The game had to grow on me though. The beginning felt slow and I was unsure whether I had made the right purchase. But as the missions progressed, I really started to enjoy the stealth missions that were, thrown at me. Like following someone on the streets of Venice or preventing a character from being hanged, which I really liked doing. And with the latest mission, getting spotted meant also game over and you had to respawn. And I wish more missions were as challenging as that one. But that might be because I am not a big fan of the combat. The combat feels weak. It might be fun in the tutorial, but after playing for a while I only wanted to avoid it, which of course an assassin should do anyway. This is not a game you buy for the combat. That's what I'm trying to say here. You can parry certain moves of enemies and then you strike back, but it becomes a clusterfuck, so to say, when 2 or 3 enemies are about to engage you. You just need to get out. The AI, by the way, is also incredibly stupid, so it's not enjoyable for long. Sneaking up to enemies in stealth mode and taking them down with your hidden blades is awesome, and of course what you are meant to do, especially when taking them down from above. Compared to the combat, this, however, is very powerful. Enemies just die instantly when you sneak up to them and kill them. As for the graphics, yes, I was quite impressed that a standalone headset could produce this, yes. But to say standalone VR gaming is on par with PCVR, which I have heard many times, is, in my opinion, nonsense. I remember going through Venice in a boat in this game and telling myself over and over again, imagine this being optimized for PCVR. It would come closer to the CGI trailer they showed us once. Sometimes things look blurry, there are some clear performance issues which also cause my audio to crackle at times, especially in the Greek outdoor scenes. But hey, it's standalone and for what it is, I really enjoyed playing this game, I can't deny it. It took a while to get me going again, but sneaking my way through everything and avoiding fights is how I started to like it, and I had to find that myself. The game surprisingly comes with lots of comfort settings, from all the regular stuff to even an afraid of heights feature. You can switch between missions. I just wish you could go to certain chapters within missions. I mean, there was this, for example, a mission where I had to sneak my way through a church, and I wanted to do that specific thing again, but without having to do all the whole mission again, if you know what I mean. All in all, again, if you have a Quest 3 headset, you like Assassin's Creed series and enjoy sneaking around, I would suggest, diving into this game you will enjoy. The game is alright, but in my subjective experience, it's not a game changer or the best VR game of the year, as many people have proclaimed. It's just cool that instead of controlling the assassin, you can now, in VR, become the assassin. Now, I hope this gave you a quick insight into what the game has to offer. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Assassin's Creed, especially being able to play this on a Quest 3. And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up to date with the latest VR updates. And I hope to see you, as always, in the next video. Ciao, ciao.